anti-racism and diversity. And we are so proud to have two talented spoken word artists, not only spoken word artists, but artists in general with us today to close out Black History Month. This event is brought to you by our IDEA committee. IDEA is an acronym for Inclusion, Diversity, Equity, and Anti-Racism, and also our lead office, which I already explained. Again, we have two talented artists here today, and to introduce one of the artists is one of our math faculty who actually recommended to speak today. So without further ado, Francois, he's also our site compliance officer.
Oh boy, no site compliance right now. So it's my great pleasure to introduce a friend, introduce a poet. Asia Lau'ren is the poet, as you learn. When I first met Asia, she was wearing a pirate's outfit, and she looked very swashbuckling. But by the end of the day, I realized she probably should have been wearing a superhero outfit, because she really is a superhero artist. You're going to hear some poetry today. She is also a photographer with multiple volumes out, including one, Separate But Equal, which was going to be launched on Saturday. Today's Thursday, right? But tomorrow night, turns out she's going to be at a movie premiere for a movie that she is in. There's some other people in it as well. Morgan Freeman, maybe you've heard of him. So if it gets chilly and rainy, which it might get, you might want to go to the movies and see my dead friend Zoe, and you'll get to see my friend Asia in it. And the last thing I should say, I think more important than any of that, is just we've only met a couple times, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I feel such warmth and generosity of spirit from Asia, and so I'm super happy to have her be here at my home away from home, Miramar, and to call her a friend.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh my goodness. I don't know which one I'm going to use. I might use this one. Let's see. Hello. That's not on. Hello, guys. Okay, there we go. Hi, my name is Asia Lau'ren. I am a Los Angeles local, and this is my, thank you so much. This is my first time doing something like this for a college, so I'm really excited to be here. First, I want to thank Judy. You and Nessa have championed this since the beginning, so thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm very excited to be here, and I'm just so grateful. And Mark, too, for the generous introduction, not just today, but to you two as well. So yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for those of you who are here. And before we get into the poetic vibrations, I first want to let you guys know that I'm a seeker. And because I'm a seeker, I'm constantly looking for an interactive experience with other people. I'm looking to learn from other people. And so when I do poetry sets, it's not an audience-artist relationship. We're all here experiencing this thing together, and we all have something to offer one another. So I will be asking questions, and I would love for everyone to partake and give their thoughts and feedback, because I don't think that art it happens in a vacuum. It happens because all of us experience something together. So with that said, we're gonna get into it, all right? And so first, I just wanna say I'm here to help close out Black History Month celebration here at the college. And to me, and maybe to you guys as well, I see that Black History Month is meant to honor, it's meant to include, it's meant to acknowledge, it's meant to enlighten that which is not honored, included, acknowledged, or enlightened in our regular American history, in our regular curriculums, in our day-to-day lives, correct? And so when I think about the words honor, when I think about the words include, and I think about the words acknowledge, enlighten, can anyone guess what word comes to mind? Anybody can start throwing out words. What do those words make you guys think of? Honor, include, acknowledge, enlighten. What do those words make you think of? Anything? Love that. We're going to get on that later today. That's a great one. Okay, any other words? Love that. Also going to talk about that later. Yeah? Say that one more time. Ooh, okay, yes. Love worthiness. All right, one more. Give me one more. Think of a word that starts with an L. Love. Yes. all of the things that you guys said, I think of those as well. And I think love is one of the biggest words that encompasses all of those things. And so I think of love as something bigger than a feeling, right? It's an experience. It's something that not only we give, but we can receive it. And so with that said, the first piece I want to open up with is going to force us to think about love. And so as I read this, I want you to think about your answer to the question that I'm posing. And if it helps you to listen with your eyes closed, I encourage you to do that. Okay. Who taught you love? Have you examined that lately? Do their lessons still resonate? Do their lessons still hold truth? Who taught you love? Have you examined that lately? Do their teachings fill you with joy? Or do their teachings fill you with shame? Who taught you love? Have you examined that lately? Were you empowered by their guidance? Were you scared from their rules? Who taught you love? Did they teach you freedom too? So the question is, who taught y'all love? Who wants to share? Who taught them love? And there's no wrong answers here, so feel free.
My mother.
Ooh, let's get into that. How?
The way she loved me every single day, the way she showed up for me, the way she cared for me, the way she created safe spaces for me to fully be myself.
Wow. Do you feel like that's something that you have carried on in your life and moved with?
I would say yes.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Love that. Anybody else?
My siblings.
Siblings? Ooh, yes. How many do you have? 3. Oof. Are you the oldest or the youngest or the middle? Tell us about that.
They showed me love by how later years times got rough with me, especially after my military and I broke my back. That they came around and were assisting me even deep in their own lives.
Wow. First, thank you for your service. And also, wow, I've never heard anyone say their siblings, and I absolutely love that. It makes me think of my sister. And it's huge when people will show you that level of generosity, right? Drop everything and be there for you. I love that. Okay. Anyone else wanna chime in and share?
Spirit.
Yes.
I think growing up, there were a lot of experiences that I was handed that I was told was loving, and I just always knew there was something off about it. And I think through being reflected in moments of synchronicity or music or just remembering like this is what love feels like in my body.
Yes. I love that. I know, and I love that. I think we all experience that, right? There's things that happen to us, whether it be listening to music, sometimes seeing a movie or having a conversation where you just feel this rush of that. And you just know like, oh, this is what it's supposed to feel like. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else? I see you guys.
I think, and I don't think this is in its totality, but I think I taught myself love.
How'd you do that?
By learning from my mistakes.
Hey now. Hey, yeah, right? We've got to teach ourselves. I think one of the biggest premises of this piece is the word taught, because we all have to learn, right? We all don't just come into this earth knowing things. We have to be taught. So I love that you brought that up. Thank you for sharing that. Is there anyone else that wants to chime in? Okay, I'll give mine as well, and then we'll move on. So mine was also my mother. I take the good with the bad. In a lot of ways, she taught me how to be a woman, and how to love just through action. But in a lot of ways, I had to learn things on my own and realize that I don't have to do it the way she taught me, and feeling the freedom to do it the way I want to do it in my life. And so thank you guys for all sharing that. All right, so from now, we can move with the energy that Black history is love, right? Where we've talked about love and abundance. We can experience that Black history is love in totality. But I'm gonna keep it funky with y'all real quick. I'm not called Black because of Africa. I'm called Black because of colonization, just like Native Americans were called Indians because of port navigation, right? And race does not matter, but colonizers made it matter centuries ago, so here we are. All right, so in some lights, history has taught us that the colonizers had power because they had guns. But you see, I don't think that power actually manifests itself like that. I don't think they felt powerful. I think they felt insecure. And that's why they roamed the earth doing what they did, right? And so this next piece I want to talk about contradicts that history has shown us about power. And it's actually inspired by my best friend who's here today, Booby. And I've never read this piece in front of you, so it's kind of crazy. But someone in here, you brought up the word empowerment, right? And that's why I said I was going to get back to that. And so I often wonder what it feels like to know that you're powerful. Like, really believe it. Maybe it feels like when you have a signature dish that you always make and people always love it. Maybe it feels like when you lock eyes with the person that you've been admiring and then you take them home. Maybe it feels like when you set a goal and you grab it. Or maybe it doesn't feel like those things. Maybe power doesn't just feel like winning. Or in this case, conquering others. Maybe power feels more humble than winning. Maybe power feels like when your friends come to you for advice and you watch them flourish. Maybe power feels like when someone thanks you for something you did that changed their life. Maybe power feels blind but intentional, like moving with such clear and consistent intention that you lose sight of what you're physically doing but gain awareness of your energy. Maybe power feels like harnessing your energy and being able to give it to others blindly but intentionally. So who in here feels powerful? Raise your hands if you feel powerful, right? And I want to stress on that because I think that we all forget that we are powerful beings, not for the things that we've claimed on this earth, but for the things that we give. And I'm sure all of us in here at one point or another forgot that we were powerful and we acted in ways that did not align with who we are, right? And I think in a lot of ways that some of us, we let insecurity take over instead of leaning into our true power. And so I would like to ask if anyone wanted to share about a time when they lost sight of their own power and what they did to get it back. Yes.
When I was in the military, I was on my third deployment, and I'm a bodybuilder. I spent a lot of time doing a lot of body workouts. That's when I broke my back. During that time, as the back degraded, I lost a sense of who I was because I was so focused on having physical strength.
Wow, yeah.
It took me a while, but during that path, I grew towards more mental strength. I started empowering my mind, giving myself more knowledge, so that I was feeling more powerful. And over time, it actually has been my strongest strength.
Wow, man. Thank you for sharing that. That resonates real deep. I too am a veteran, and I've had my struggle with losing physical capability, and so I get where you're coming from. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. It's wild what we put on ourselves, the things that we place outside of ourselves to like tell ourselves, oh, this makes me powerful because I can do this thing, and having to remind ourselves like, nope, that's not it. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else want to share a time that they feel like they lost their power and got it back? Yeah.
I apologized to an ex-girlfriend 7 years, I think, ago. Sorry,
It's okay.
I placed a lot of shame on myself for how I treated her.
It's okay, man.
Just recently, I decided to apologize to her. I had a lot of mental issues back then. I think it prevented me, like the shame I had thinking about the past. I think it prevented me from loving people the way that I used to. Because I just thought of myself as such an awful person. It's not, doesn't matter if she sees it or not, but I think this is how I'm getting past that.
Wow. No, yeah, thank you for sharing that. Absolutely. Sometimes there's so much power in the apology too, right? And like you just said, it's not necessarily that she sees it, but that you know it and you've taken that action for yourself. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Wow. Anybody else? A time that you felt like you lost your power and you got it back, and how did you do it? Oh, yeah.
November 8th of last year, felt like we all lost a lot of our things that I'm starting to see recently pop up, little acts of defiance, little acts of resistance, big acts of resistance, like the governor of the state of Maine. I feel like we haven't given up. That is enough to remind us of our power.
Yeah. Yes. 1,000%. Thank you. That's because you're bringing up a community-based power, and I think that is what we often forget too, is that we don't exist in a vacuum. We're surrounded by each other, and there is power in that. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else? Yes.
There have been a lot of times in my life where, as a woman, speaking in any professional or academic setting, there have been times where I say something and then the person next to me says it louder and gets the credit for it. And so I've learned that I can't retreat from that. I have to keep going forward.
Absolutely.
Because every time I raise my hand in class, I don't care if I'm like annoying people, because that's not the point of being in a class.
Yes.
Or in a professional setting. So I've learned that you have to keep persisting in that.
Yeah.
To make yourself known and to take your own power back.
Absolutely. Thank you. Ooh, that was good. And I think at the very root of that, and I'm going to say something that I learned from Neil deGrasse Tyson, the astrology, cosmetologist guy. He's a scientist. Anyways, he talks about life and existing. And you hit on something that made me think of this, but the sheer fact that we exist is a miracle. And so knowing that, keeping that in mind, is like everything that you have to say is important and it matters. And so being persistent in that, even if you feel like your voice isn't the loudest, is huge. And I think all of us have experienced that, and like needing to remind ourselves like, no, I need to say what I have to say, because it could help somebody. It could help me, even if that person doesn't receive it well, you know? So thank you for sharing that. Okay. Wow, you guys are great. So now we've touched on, you guys can still hear me, right? I don't need the mic. Y'all can hear me? Okay, we're good. So Black history is love and Black history is power, right? We've talked on this. And now I want to send us off with a closer that hopefully feels like reconciliation. And I'm a big nerd, so I want to define reconcile for you guys. And basically that word means to coexist in harmony. And that's always the goal. And so this piece is actually brand new. I wrote it for my photography collection that's releasing on Saturday. It's called Separate But Equal. No one has heard this, you guys. You're the first to hear it. Oh my gosh, okay. And just listen, because there's a little bit of repetition in certain areas, and so I don't want y'all to miss a thing. All right. Oh, goodness, I haven't read this out loud. All right. When our history doesn't match what happened, then our reality doesn't match what is. And our truths are stories of lies that don't matter. When our history doesn't match what happened, then our life doesn't match what is. And our paths are journeys of glass that won't shatter. When our history doesn't match what happened, then our heart doesn't match what is, and our souls are tortures of pain that make patterns. Stories of lies birth ignorance. Journeys of glass birth barriers. Tortures of pain birth trauma. But through community and sharing and art, generations after us will rebirth and find that the lies on the truths of our stories do matter, and the lies held over us will be exposed. The glass on the path of our journey will shatter, and the glass held over us will be removed. The pain on the souls of our tortures shake patterns, and the pain held over us will be healed. And one day, our history will match what happened, and our reality will match our life, and our life will match our heart.
Yes.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. That's all I got. Thank you guys. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys so much. This was amazing. Thank you. Oh my God, to be here. Thank you so much. Of course. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you. All right.
All right, so we have, I said, 2 artists that are here, and refer to the wireless. So